When Alice and Bob are communicating over a network, they would like their conversation to be private. Maybe because Bob is buying something from Alice and sending her a credit card number, or maybe because they're discussing confidential medical information, or maybe just out of an everyday expectation of privacy. That's the abstraction we would like, but it's not the one we get from the network as we've described it so far, or from the internet by default. Because the conversation between Alice and Bob is encoded in packets that are sent over the wires going through various routers, and someone, say Eve, who has control over one of the routers, or who has convinced that router to send her packets through routing information, or maybe there's just some over-the-air communication, like Wi-Fi or satellite, where Eve can see those packets. And Eve, as an eavesdropper, could understand their conversation if it's not somehow protected. A related problem is that someone else, Mallory, might set up a network that convinces Alice she is talking to Bob, and also convinces Bob that he is talking to Alice, but really they're both talking to Mallory, who is pretending to be the other one. And that way Mallory gets not only to see the conversation, but to control what happens. This could be Mallory at two different laptops, or in control of some router in between them. This kind of problem is called a man-in-the-middle attack because Mallory is in the middle of the conversation and controlling what the other ends of the conversation see. These are the kinds of problems we solve with cryptography. I will sometimes abbreviate cryptography with just crypto. In this class I mean cryptography and not cryptocurrency or cryptoanalysis, which are two other words that are sometimes abbreviated with crypto. Of course, both of those are related to cryptography, but I will be talking about the fundamental principles and practice of securing communication when I use the word crypto. Also, by the way, when I talk about Alice and Bob and Eve and Mallory, these are not names I made up, but they're standard names when we talk about cryptography. And so, in fact, if you tell a story with Alice and Bob and other similar names, then another programmer would just assume that you're talking about cryptography or security. And so we'll use these names too.